Okay, we're going to start a new mimer. Hopefully we'll finish it by the end of the week. Okay, 160, second column, Drushim L'Sukkis. Okay, love him, Masha calls him, I mean, is it the same? No. We started this mimer already. I'm sorry, this mimer we started already. So we're not changing my morning yet. Okay, 1 second.
Remember what you ate for yesterday? I don't remember yesterday.
Okay, I know where we are. Sorry. When page Pei Aleph, a little bit above midway in the page. Okay, the Alter Rebbe is explaining. First, he asked the question. By Shmini Atzeres, it says it should be for you, lochem. And by Shvi Shel Pesach it says Atzeres Hashem Elokecha. Okay. So he started saying after Hashem Elokecha b'chol levav b'chol nafshecha b'chol meidecha. So he started explaining what is the after means, not only a commandment, but it means you will love. So b'chol levavcha means that your whole desire is only godliness. Okay. Av b'chol nafshecha is a level of, it's too great even, in Gashmis you don't even have such a love. It's mamish, you become mamish one with Hashem. B'chol meidecha, he says, it's even higher than tzaddikim. So like we said, basically you can define the three, even though the Alter Rebbe doesn't say it clearly, but the first level is the Beinani that has this love of Hashem. He doesn't want to disconnect from Hashem. He wants to be connected to Hashem. He doesn't want Gashmis, he only wants Ruchnius. Then you have the level of tzaddikim that have no Yetzer Hara b'chlal. So their avat Hashem is that the mamish very great, one with Hashem. Then you have the level of b'chol meidacha. He says is the level of avedis becoming mitzvahs. That's the level of tshuva, and he says that is mamish that he's mamish one with Hashem. There's not even somebody who's loving. Like the person loves, it's yesh misheh, but this is mamish one with Hashem. So he says, therefore the Chazal warned very strongly, have a shval ruach b'fnei kol adam. You should be extremely humble. Okay, shval ruach means low-spirited in front of everybody. Why? He says, in order for a person to be broken, to have a low spirit. Why? In order for the Ava, the revelation of Ava from above should be, like you said before, in other words, why is the Baal Tshuva greater than the Tzaddik? The Tzaddik has order the whole time. Right? Doing Torah mitzvahs, he's connected to Hashem openly, it's like light. The Baal Tshuva, the ultimate level of Tshuva, is he took Choshech, he took Avedas, and he made Avedas into Or. So that's a greater level of Or, Yisr in the Or. The greatness of light is when it comes Min HaChoshech. He says that can only come through the ultimate level of Bittul. As long as a person thinks there's something, so then they're not a keli talukus. Because as much as you think of yourself, even if you think, let's say, 10% of yourself, that means godliness can only come 90% into you. Because wherever you are, godliness can come. That's what the Chazal say. One turning of tshuva ma'asim teilim hazeh is better than the whole olam haba. The Amru and Chazal say shiyar kol yama b'tshuva. The Gemara says your whole life you should do tshuva. What does that mean? He says olam haba ein al ziva adam mimena. Because what's olam haba? L'chayda, how can one turning, shah doesn't only mean hour, it means a turn. How does one turning of tshuva ma'asim teilim in this world better than the olam haba? Olam haba is olam haba. So he says, what's olam haba? So we learned, the Gemara says, tzaddikim yeshvim, the tzaddikim sitting, whatever that means. obviously there's a meaning for it. Tzadikim sit, v'atzvesem b'rasheim, their crowns are on their head, v'nenim miziv hashchina. They enjoy the ray of the Shechina. Okay? So the advantage of Gan Eden is that they feel it, because there's no body getting in the way. It's only neshama, so they feel it. But what are they feeling? They're only getting a ray, ziv hashchina. When a person does a mitzvah in this world, they're connecting to the essence. Because we have free choice, and we choose good over bad. So that's the advantage of dark. When dark is transformed to light, it's a greater form of light. Kamay Merazal, Tzadikim Yeshim Enenim Eziv Hashchina, and Yud Nivra Ilam Abba. The Gemara says, we say in davening every day in a volatility, Ki biyah Hashem tzur elamin. Okay, so the Medrash says, Ki biyah means Yud Kei, tzur elamim. Hashem created the worlds. So the Gemara says, the Medrash says, B'yud nivra olam haba, b'hei nivra olam hazeh. Because it says, Ki b'yud Kei Hashem tzur elamim. So the Medrash says, Yud is nivra olam haba, and Hey is Olam Hazeh. Now Yud is just a dot, it's a ray, it's not the essence. Hey is already much more. Ki b'Yud ba'or anim shachas mispashetes. B'chinas Yud, but Olam Haba mean Hashem created with Yud. What does that mean? The Gilui of Yud is revealed in Olam Haba, that's what it means. Ki Yud atzim b'chinas eisi shmei agadol. Because the letter Yud is the first letter of Hashem's name. And who is Shmei Echad Hashem and his name are what? Like it says, Kinizk of Shmei Levade Rak Heidei El Eretz Shemayim. And Heidei is Ziv Ha'arim Min Shmei Asher Nizgav Levade. That's exalted. In other words, what comes Al Eretz Shemayim? Heidei is Al Eretz Shemayim. That means, okay, Yalu, what do we say? Yalu Shem Hashem. Praise the name of Hashem. Ki nizgav shmei levadi. His name by itself is exalted. That means it's completely in a different category. Haidai, his ray, simple meaning of the word, by the way, is not the ray of Hashem. It's the ray of Shmai. Nizgav shmei levadi, Hashem's name is exalted, removed. What is Al Eretz Shemayim? Again, Eretz is this world, Shemayim is Gan Eden, is only a ray of the Shechina, the ray of the Yud.
Interesting that this Yud is Ati, is future.
Yeah, and constant.
And constant. All of Haba, like it's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should write a book.
Everything is connected.
Write a book.
Consistency.
Yeah, very nice.
There's a guy wrote a book. Say yesterday, a guy wrote a book, and he brought it to a big Talmud Chacham for Haskama, you know, what do you call it, approbation, something like that. And the guy's reading it, the tzaddik is reading it, he says, oh, amazing.
Wow.
And finally at the end, he says, I'm not giving any haskama, forget it. Anyway, so students, after the guy left, the students said, what were you saying amazing about? He's saying, Hashem made the world something from nothing. How a guy can take a piece of paper and make such nothing out of it is amazing. The guy took a piece of paper, it's amazing how he can make nothing from a piece of paper. Okay. Yisrael am kreve, and the Yidden are his close nation. But the Yidden are connected to Chelik Alakami Mal Mamish. How are they tshuva meyabel ledavka bei mamish be'intzah baruch hu levada? So when a Jew does tshuva, and tshuva doesn't only mean tshuva for sins. Tshuva means Torah mitzvahs. When a person does Torah mitzvahs, they're connecting to the essence of Hashem. So granted, Gan Eden, you feel, because there's no body, right? There's no nefesh habamis. But what are you feeling? You're only feeling a ray of the name. But in this world, when I do just Torah mitzvahs, mitzvah means safsa v'chibur, you're connecting and binding, you're connecting to the essence of Hashem. So granted, we don't feel it yet, until Mashiach comes, then we're going to feel it. But the bottom line is, every mitzvah Jew does connects to the essence of Hashem. And that's what we said many, many times. The Rebbe's approach to Kiruv is you meet a person, the first thing, you don't talk to him about love, sex, and marriage, and about the first thing you do with the Jew is put him on tefillin. He does a mitzvah, he's connected. Now you go further, now he's connected. Then you go further, and you start explaining and doing other things. But the first thing, you connect the Jew to Hashem, is you do a mitzvah with them. There's no philosophy, there's no discussion. You do a mitzvah. Why? Because the mitzvah connects to the essence. He said, this level of tshuva, like you said before, is the level is the level Yetzias Mitzrayim, is going out of Mitzrayim. Why? What is the Yetzias Mitzrayim? Lord says, Minam Mitzarim, Ugvulim, to go out of the boundaries and limitations. Hamagbil and Mo'ava, that limit the Ava, Lord says, Mechinas Tzadik, to leave the level of tzaddik and become about tshuva, which is much greater. In other words, Alter Rebbe says like this: there's a concept called Yetzias Mitzrayim, and we say every day, right? There's a mitzvah every day in davening to mention Yetzias Mitzrayim, right? That's what he said. There's a mitzvah, a biblical mitzvah to mention Yetzias Mitzrayim. So it's not only b'chol dar v'dar, and the Haggadah we say b'chol dar v'dar chayiv adam liris yisatzmi, every generation. In Perek Mem Zayin of Tanya, the Alter Rebbe says b'chol yom v'yom, every day. Address the picture that they're going out of Mitzrayim. Now what does it mean? We're not in Egypt. What do you mean? Where are we going? So Chassidus explains, Mitzrayim means meitzar ugvul, boundary and limitation. That's what the word meitzar means. Now you can have a boundary of like the real bad Egypt, worst level of evil. You can have that in a physical sense. You know, you go out of total evil to become stop sinning. But then there's another level. You have meitzah means limitation, boundaries. You can have a boundary of a tzaddik gomor is also a limitation, because his ava and yireh is limited. It's limited. As great as he is, he's still limited. So what's the Yetzias Mitzrayim for a tzaddik? The Yetzias Mitzrayim of a tzaddik is going out of the limitations of good to better. Or, as the Alter Rebbe is saying here, to go out from a tzaddik to a level about tshuva. Again, we're talking about the Rabbi Loza ben Nudaya tshuva we're talking about. To go out of the limitation of a tzaddik to become about tshuva. That's b'chol me'idecha. And that's why when a person, like the Alter Rebbe explains in the famous Perek Tezvav of Tanya, he quotes the Gemara in Chagiga that says, there's a pasuk that says, "Shafta b'risem bein tzaddik l'rasha, bein eved elokim l'shelo yavadeh." You should sit and meditate. Shafta b'risem, you should think the difference between tzaddik l'rasha, tzaddik and l'rasha, bein eved elokim l'shelo yavadeh, between one who serves God and one who doesn't. Yeah. So the Gemara in Chagiga alludes to the fact it's redundant. Simply a tzaddik means serving Hashem, and a rasha means lo yavadeh. So why does the pasuk say, look at the difference between a tzaddik and a rasha? Stop. They said, no, between one who serves God and one who doesn't. It's the same thing. So the Gemara says no. It's the Gemara. Now the Rebbe elaborates it in Tanya. But the Gemara says, what does loy avodai mean? In other words, we're not talking about a tzaddik and a rasha. We're talking about two good people. But you can have one who's Ayved Elikim, one who's serving God, and Loy Avodeh. So the Gemara says, what is the difference? If you learn the Gemara 100 times, you're called loy avodai. You didn't serve him. You learn the Gemara 101 times, then you're called Oved Elokim. And the Gemara explains this. The Gemara says there's a mashal in the Gemara language. That's what they did. When you hire a donkey for X amount, let's say for a mile, you pay $1. You go anything over a mile, you have to pay double. Or in American language, you get paid time and then you get paid for overtime. Yeah, so overtime you don't get paid the same thing. You get the time and a half, whatever it may be. Yeah, that's the law. Why? If an hour is $10 an hour, yeah, so for 2 hours you should get 10. Why do you get $25? I mean, like, why? So the answer is like this. In those days, the Gemaras weren't written. Everything was oral. Al peh. So in order to learn it and remember it properly, the nature of people in those days was to learn it 100 times. That's what their nature was. So when they did it, their nature, that's a limitation. That's not Yetzias Mitzrayim. You are still in Mitzrayim. That's your nature. If it's your nature, then you're called Loy Avodai. Because in order to serve Hashem, in other words, in simple language, for a Jew to reach infinite, you can never reach infinite within your finite level. One second. If you're finite, you can't reach infinite. Oved Elokim means you're an Eved, you become bottle. As long as you're doing it within your natural comfort zone, so even though it's 100 versus 101 times, it's only 100th more, big deal. The answer is, this is what you're accustomed to, and this is breaking your nature. And therefore, what Dr. Rebbe is saying over here, even at Tzaddik, Oved Elokim, but he's still, if that's within his natural comfort zone, he's called Lo Yavodei. Because he's not reaching out of his comfort zone. What?
So ideally, every day we break our nature.
We're supposed to. Every day we're supposed to go out of Mitzrayim. By the way, you ever notice, I always use this as a marshal, you teach a class, let's say the class is from 9 to 12, yeah? You can control the class. When the bell rings at 12 o'clock, from 12 to 12:01, it's harder to control the class than from 9 to 12. This is 1 minute, this is 3 hours. Because once the bell rings, then they're out of the 3 hours is their comfort zone, like they say, right? You go above and beyond, it's everybody knows changing your nature is very complicated, very difficult to do. But that's the only way, that's what he said, B'chol Meidecha means, in this level, that a tzaddik goes out of his level, out of his comfort zone, which is limited by his nature. Nature is meitzar. It's limited. What do we do? We're comfort zone. B'chol Meidecha is the tzaddik going out of it, that's the level of tshuva. And that's why 1 second of tshuva ma'aseh tov b'olam hazeh is better than olam haba. Olam haba, granted, you feel it, but it's only ziv hashchina. Where do you get not only the shchina? Shchina is malchus that comes into the worlds. Where do you get the essence of Hashem? That's when you do a mitzvah. What?
So the ray of the Shekhinah is kind of like the receipts that we accumulate over time here as we have the ability to change our
Yes.
course.
Yeah. They tell a story, a rich miser once came up to Gan Eden, and it's interesting how they know these stories, but whatever. And he came up to Gan Eden, and he was a miser, you know. So he said to him, "Sorry, sir, you're going down under, you're not going to." He said, No, 1 minute, I'll write you a check. You know. So they told him, here we don't take checks. Here we only take receipts. We take receipts of the money you gave in this world. That's what we take to get you. We don't take checks here. We only take the receipts. You know what I mean? That's what it is. So Gan Eden is the receiving, the receipts of the avodah we did in this world. The ultimate is when the essence will be felt. When we're going to feel the essence. That is ultimately Bias Mashiach and ultimately really Tchis HaMesim. So now we're connecting to the essence. But the problem is we don't feel it. The money's in a trust fund that's not touchable. It's there. But we can't touch it yet. Mashiach comes, we're going to be able to have access to that essence that we got.
But the Gan Eden can affect this world.
What does that mean?
Somebody that after 120 years goes up and you pray and you on the outside you give and you give stuff on your name. And that's a bit.
You mean here we affect Gan Eden?
And they affect us.
What do you mean they affect us?
They are an advocate for us. They brought us brachot.
Yeah, that's because they're so connected to us.
Right, so they can affect us from Gan Eden.
The Rebbe says in Yortzeit of a tzaddik, because in Yortzeit they go up higher in Gan Eden, so they take with them all the connectors, all the people connected to them. Okay, let's finish this. Now that the Rebbe said, not only tzaddikim, every Jew in his own level, yesh bechinas yitzias Mitzrayim, hafilu ba'amayin am kipshutei. Even the simple folk, yeah? Lifnei, what does yitzias Mitzrayim mean? Lifnei mi'asakav, v'nyani olam, to turn away from his businesses or worldly things, or befrat bali ma'asel matan, especially business people, tzrichim the kvaya itim. They have to designate time. Lifnei daita me'askeim, to break away from their business and do learning, davening, and all that. V'chein b'yitzias Mitzrayim. There's madle madrego, ma'ila acher ma'ila. There's yitzias Mitzrayim level after level after level. Asher yigia lebechinas Avei Rabba, until you come to Avei Rabba, that's the level of Chomei Dech. So now the Rebbe is explaining, there's this level of, what he's going to explain now, it's Yitzias Mitzrayim basically. Don't forget, he asked what's the difference between Sukkot and Pesach, that by Sukkot it says Tia Lochem, and by Pesach it says Hashem Elokecha. So the Rebbe is explaining, B'chol Levav, B'chol Nafsh, B'chol Meidecha. And he said, B'chol Meidecha is Yitzias Mitzrayim. Right? But Mo'ed, infinite. That's going out of the person's nature. Because the first level is, like a Beinoni. But even the second level of tzaddik, that it doesn't have an Nefesh Haba'ah, it's a Yetzirah, he loves Alukus so much, it's still limited in the amount he loves. So that's still within Mitzrayim. It's not Yitzias Mitzrayim yet. But Chol Meidecha is going out of Mitzrayim.
You have to go out of this.
Yes, sir.